Hello! In this video, we are going to learn how to find the least squares regression line, also known as the LSRL. So, what is a least squares regression line? Well, it is a linear fit that matches the set of paired data points best and as closely as possible, giving the smallest distance in between the line and data point. So say we have a problem like this. Robert's basketball team had 10 games. The following data represents the number of shots made each game from his team. So here we have games 1 through 10, along with the shots made per game, 13, 20, 17, so on. So let's find the least squares regression line for this data. To put the data into your calculator, click on Stat. Edit is already selected, so you can click Enter, and now lists will show up. So the list that we are going to use are L1 and L2. L1 represents X values, which is also independent variables, which for this problem is the games, 1 through 10. I already previously entered in the games 1 through 10, as well as for list 2, the Y values, or the dependent variables, which are the shots made each game from his team, which are 13, 20, 17, 24, and so on. And this is already all entered in. So, to find the values for the equation, you're going to click on Stat once again, but scroll over to Calc using this arrow and go down to number 4, which is linear regression. Click Enter and make sure that your X list is represented by L1 and your Y list is represented by L2. If it is not, just click on second 1 or 2 because it will correct it to being L1 or L2, which you can see is represented by the blue above the numbers. Because all of this is correct for me, I can simply just click on Enter. Now I have the values for the equation y equals ax plus b, which is our linear regression equation. So A represents the slope and B represents the y-intercept. These are the values for the least squares regression line. So you can now write out the equation for the least squares regression line. But if you want to graph it, continue watching. So if you go to second and then stat plot, which is also y equals, but you can see stat plot is represented in the blue, you now have all these options. We're going to use plot 1, click Enter, and make sure it is on. Also make sure that the type of graph it is scatter plot, X list is L1, Y list is L2. So everything looks good. Now I can click on Zoom and then scroll down to 9, which is Zoom Statistics. And this will basically just give you a perfect view of all your data points. So now that our data points are graphed, you can add in the least squares regression line equation. So you can click on y equals. Now you can manually put in the values for A and B, as we saw before in our linear regression. However, it is easier just to use vars so you don't have to round the numbers yourself, and it will give you a more accurate line without the rounding. So to get your values, go to vars, scroll down to number 5 to get statistics, click on it, scroll over to equation, and there you will find value A. Click Enter, now A is there. So we have y equals A, X you can find here, then plus B, so back to vars, back down to statistics, back over to equation, and down to 3, which is B. Enter. Now you have your y equals ax plus b equation. So you can now go to graph, and now you can see the least squares regression line perfectly graphed and with all of your data points. If you want to see what each of the points are more closely, you can click on Trace and just scroll up and down the line. so you can see the x value and the y value. This line gives you the best representation of the data points as possible while being linear. Thank you for watching. Bye.